Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Group podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with the season finale of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, The Rings of Power. That was episode number 8. I thought it was going to be 9 episodes, but they gave us eight episodes, and this is the finale.
Like, F it, let's go, let's get this thing over
they were
with.
Like, dude, let's stop the bleeding, let's get it over with, right? The entire season got a 6.9 in terms of IMDb. The actual episode got a 7.9.
That's too high.
Yeah, that's really
that's way too high. Yeah, that's too high.
Oh, we got some talking to do then, dude. Because I thought it was dude. I like the episode. I ain't even gonna front.
Okay, we had the two camps going on here. Mm-hmm. We have Galadriel going with Sauron. We can say it finally. Going over to the elves to go get healed by the elves' magic over there. Mm-hmm. And then you have the Harfoots dealing with the they're calling him feminine. The short bald girl. She got short hair. Yeah. They're internet's calling her feminine because they think she looks like Eminem.
She's done now, dude. She went back to the essence. She's done, dude. Right? She is done. Her whole crew is done. Whoever they were. I mean, they were just no name. They had no name at all.
Yeah, and then you got the Numenorian stuff, like that thing going on over there. Now, we have to get the elf out of the room. If Isildur is alive, he has to be alive because he's important to the movies and the books.
What if he isn't?
He can't die. He's literally the most important person in the Lord of the Rings story at the beginning of the story. The story doesn't happen without him.
Okay, but all right, but this is like totally different.
He cannot die.
Okay, but this is totally different.
If you're going to tell us that this thing is a prequel to the books and the movies, he cannot die. It's impossible.
Are they saying it's a prequel?
He needs to be alive. Yeah. They said this goes right into the movies and you're going to feel right at home. They said all that stuff. They have 2 things wrong with this thing so far. Well, a couple more things the 2 main things are wrong. Galadriel's married, has a husband and a kid, who's eventually the kid's going to marry Elrond, and their daughter is going to be vital to the movies. That's the first problem going on right now. The second problem is Isildur is eventually become king of Middle Earth, and he's gonna destroy Sauron at the beginning of Lord of the Rings, the very beginning. Isildur is the one that does it. Nobody else. Elrond's there, standing and watching him. Isildur is the one that takes up the sword and does it. So if Isildur is dead, this thing can't happen.
Okay, but again,
that's a huge problem. These are 2 big problems.
I'm going to ask you though, what if he is? What happens now?
Well, the movies they don't work. The huge part of the movies is like because you have a major character in Lord of the Rings who's the heir from Isildur. So if Isildur doesn't survive and doesn't have any kids and then don't go down the line, this guy doesn't exist in the movies. And it's important because the most important of the plot, they call it Isildur's Bane, is that he didn't destroy the ring when he had a chance. It is a huge part of the movies and the books. The whole storyline is wrapped around the fact that Isildur and Elrond went up to Mount Doom, and Isildur was supposed to destroy the ring, and he didn't do it. He kept it for himself, and he got mugged on some road, and the ring got disappeared.
Isildur, the person who so listen to what you just said.
Isildur cannot die.
Isildur, who killed Sauron, who got the ring. This is the most powerful elf or whoever he is in Lord of the Rings.
Isildur is the son of the guy from Numenor.
Okay.
The one that the guy that had in the clouds, that kid. That's Isildur, supposedly.
Elendil.
Yes.
Whatever his name is. So, this guy is so powerful, but he ended up getting murdered. He's supposed to die
in battle. Elendil is supposed to die in battle. Isildur takes up the sword and defeats Sauron. That's what's supposed to happen.
But he was so powerful that he got murked on the road for his ring, for his jewelry.
Well, he was corrupted by the ring.
It's like going inside of a Brooklyn club or something, right?
No. So basically, Isildur's king, and he's there. He's going on this road back to some castle or something like that. and he a bunch of assassins or whatever just kill him on the side of the road, fighting over the ring, and the ring gets lost. So that he cannot die right now. It's a silly cliffhanger because he has to be alive. Otherwise, Lord of the Rings can't happen.
But does he die in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
When they're in the Lord of the Rings book, he dies at the beginning when they're explaining to him what the history of what happened with the ring.
Okay.
They tell him he dies dead.
We're gonna bring all this back because, like I said, he
cannot die. He has to kill Sauron first before he can die.
If he's not in this show moving forward, a lot of people are gonna be upset, right?
When I say pitchforks, they're going to burn the studio down for Amazon if he's not
But
alive.
a lot of those people who will be upset are people who read the book and also people who saw the movies, right?
Yeah.
Right. Is this show, and see, that's what, sometimes when I on my other YouTube channel, when I review stuff and then I hear people bitching about oh, this button feels squishy. Oh, the bezels, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, dude, this is a bazillion-dollar company making a product, and now you're talking about you're upset because of the bezels,
This is the thing they can't change. They cannot change this. This upends other properties in the future.
Okay, so now I'm gonna bring it back to what I was about to say. Okay, so again, I'm going impure, right? I know there were some big battles and things like that, in the movies, right? I told you that
some of the biggest I've ever seen.
Right. I told you that I've seen some clips too. It's 1 million people fighting. It's just what, dude?
Oh, it's bonkers.
Dude, and they look real. It doesn't look like, cut and paste. They look real.
Oh, yeah. Mofo's getting chopped in half. It is great.
So these are real people on this battlefield. This is not just cut and paste
thousands
people.
of extras.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is big budget. But
you have to watch it. You're gonna appreciate it more.
I don't know, but what I'm about to say, I don't know. You may be like, yo, Basil, you can't be doing this, right? So again, pure. I'm going in pure of this with this show, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Know nothing at all about Lord of the Rings. And just from us, reviewing 8 episodes and, also just reading comments and things like that, people are upset. The book readers, the people who saw the Lord of the Rings movies, the Hobbit movies, all the extended versions. I mean, people probably spent at least 50 to 100 hours reading the book and watching all the movies, right? If not more.
Yeah. It's one of the most popular books in the world, next to the Bible. That's how popular this thing is.
So what I'm about to say is that I actually like that I'm pure going into this because I can now appreciate how this thing is put together, right? I'm not quite sure about the battles, but like I said last week, I don't know if for me anyway, personally, I don't know if the battles are really that important to me because with this last episode, Alloyed, right? I actually liked the episode. I mean, 7.9, I thought that was super low, I like the talking. I like the dialogue. I like just the little phrases they do. And check this out. The Flintstones actually came around, and I'm actually sort of feeling them right now.
You feel the Harfords now?
Just a little. No, not the Harfords. The Flintstones.
The Flintstones, just the family.
Just
the
a
family.
little bit. Okay. You see that? Just a little bit here, dude. Just a little bit. You got to give it up for Nori, though. I mean, Nori's rock star. She's yo, I'm getting mine, right?
Yeah, she helped out. She helped out for sure.
She helped out. Yeah, so, I mean, and because of that, it's well, do I go and not read the books, but do I go and watch the movies and then I become tainted?
Yeah. Here's the thing. All right. The movies are so good. It's a thing that you should do just because the movies are really good.
We're in the business. We're in the space. I should watch it.
you should watch it because whether or not you it takes away from the show, whatever, that's irrelevant. The movies are excellent. They're diehard Lord of the Rings fans. They're oh, this movie's gonna suck. They watch it oh, this is excellent. They have the special edition thing. They got the poster signed. They went all in because of how good the movies were great. And for me personally, I don't like the sword and sandals type stuff. I don't like the fantasy thing. I'm not a big fan of it. I prefer sci-fi. I watched the movies and it converted me over to it. I was like, oh, this is phenomenal. I've seen the movies a bunch of times over and over just because of how good it was. So that's what I'm saying. Like you should probably check it out eventually.
Yeah,
because you got 2 years until the next season comes out, so you got a lot of time. But
if not 3 years.
But I'm just saying, like it just because you should watch the movies, just to take a peek.
Well, I have a lot of time now because this show is over. I'm kind of glad that it's over, even though I like it. But I'm kind of glad it's over because this was probably also one of the first shows I've seen in a long time where they actually give you 60 minutes of a show.
Yeah, it's a full hour show. It's not
a
like
full hour.
20, it's 28 not like, minutes or 45.
You know what I mean, the credits are like 12 minutes, but still, right?
Yeah, you're like, getting the hour and 10 minutes or whatever it is. Like, you're getting the full show.
It's pretty good, man, you know?
Okay, so now that the season's over, what character do you like and which character do you dislike?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I'm about to like drop a bomb on you, okay? Okay, so I'm going to give you, I have 2 really good characters. I have 2 characters for my best characters. One is Elron, right?
Okay.
And believe it or not, the other one is Nori.
Okay.
You know, and the reason why I like Nori is because she's pure and she kind of understands. It's almost like, you know, in the Foundation when old girl was like, when she was living, I forget her name, but when they were living like on like on the ocean. And, you know, all of her, like, you know, the elders are like, listen, you're too smart. You should get up out of here, you know. So it's almost like Nori. Nori needs to be someplace else because she's just like, she's intuitive. She wants to know what's going on. She wants to know why things happen. And she's not going to be able to get that, you know, with the Flintstones. So now she's hanging out with Merlin. I kept calling him Merlin as a wizard and come to find out, Istar is a wizard.
Yeah, he's a wizard. Yeah.
Right. So Elron and Nori are my best characters. What about you? Who was your best character or characters?
Okay, I liked is it Cuban elf? Was the Arendir or whatever his name is? I liked him. I thought he was cool.
Arendir or something like that, dude. Anyway, I think he's not Cuban.
Whatever his name is. I liked him. I thought because like,
he's a Puerto Rican elf.
He's a Puerto Rican elf, right? My issue is that when I watch a show, I like people who are competent. Like I don't want to see incompetent people. Yeah. Like you're supposed to be awesome, do awesome things. And like, you know, he was doing his thing. He got the bow and arrow, he's fighting. You know, he's okay. He's a competent elf.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. If I had another person, I guess who? I'm trying to think. Who's the dwarf name? I can't remember his name. Durin. Yeah, I like the dwarf.
Yeah. I like, you know, I like him and his wife. They seem like they would be fun to hang out with, you know, like drinking,
get some beer,
eating food, you know what I'm saying? You know, drop some edibles.
Oh, he'd be down for that. Break some rocks. Yeah, break some rocks, drink some ale. Like, he seems chill. Those are my 2 favorite characters. I like them. Wait, so we got to get to the people you dislike.
Oh, my goodness. You want me to go first or you want to go first?
Yeah, go first. Go first. Who did you dislike this season?
Okay. You know, not too many people, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess if I had to, you know, I definitely didn't like the orcs or Adar. I didn't like those. I didn't like. I don't.
You're supposed to hate them. They're evil,
right? But I mean, like, I don't even understand. Like, and I guess I would find out more about Adar, you know, like in the movies because, you know, Sauron and, you know, Adar had a little conversation like, do you know me? Do I remember you? Blah, 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 you know. So I guess it's the orcs and Adar. And I guess just as a person, I know most people would probably think it would be Galadriel, but she's like my honorable mention, like, you know.
Okay, you got somebody worse than that.
Honorable mention best characters.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. You liked her?
I wouldn't consider her my worst character. I mean, I guess like the Hartfords, the Flintstones as a people on a whole, but I mean, I'm not even going to go with
scumbags.
Yeah. But I'm going to say Adar and Adar and the orcs, just that whole crew right there is just like, why? I mean, okay, with this whole fantasy genre, right? To create these orcs, like just men too, you know, they don't have relationships, they don't have girlfriends, they're not intimate with anyone. They're just there to like look ridiculous, look menacing.
Well, they're supposed to be corrupted by evil, and so now they're just evil.
Yeah.
They're deformed evil things now.
And the other reason why I don't understand these orcs and Adar is when they conquer land, they just destroy it, and there's nothing there. There's no resources. Like, I mean, how's
Yeah, well, they're not trying to take over the land to be like settlers. They're trying to destroy humans, get them off the earth.
Right. Okay. So let's just say all the humans, everyone is destroyed except the orcs and Adar, right? Where are your resources coming from? How are you eating? How are you building? You know,
what are your their rotten meat or whatever is left over in there?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, see, that is, if there was something in this entire story, even in the movies, which I did not see, it would be the orcs. The orcs just seem so absolutely ridiculous to me. I think that you could have had some battles with, you know, just groups of people who are already there. I don't know, maybe it's the dwarfs, maybe it's the elves, you know, maybe it's the humans, maybe it's a different, you know, species, not orcs, but like people who are human, have power. Maybe someone is like more technologically advanced, even though they're still fighting with bow and arrows and things like that. I don't know. It could have been like a little different because in these fantasy joints, you tend to get these monsters and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons why I'm not really into this genre, you know, but again, just to zip it up, I would say like the orcs and Adar. What about you?
Okay, yeah, because the orcs is because Lord of the Rings is supposed to be just a tale of good versus evil. That's it.
Yeah.
So orcs are supposed to be evil. Don't ask any questions. Don't worry about where they're eating.
Yeah.
What they do for their spare time. They're just evil. They're just pure evil.
No government.
And move on. Yeah, they're henchmen. Like they're disposable henchmen. That's how you're supposed to look at them. But for me, like my worst character is Galadriel because I know what she's supposed to be. And my thing when I was watching this show, she was like a dick for no reason all the time. Like when she sees Elrond, she's supposed to go into the faraway land to go into elf heaven. She's supposed to be on the boats going, and she shows up, and Elrond's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "What are you doing here?"
I thought we were supposed to both be on the other side.
You're supposed to be on the other side of the world. Like, what are you talking about? What are you doing here? That's a good question. Like, drive me every time somebody asked her a question, she answered it with another question. I thought that was such a dick move. Like, just answer the question. And you know what other reason that annoyed me, especially in this show? So she figured out that Sauron was right there. And then she didn't say anything to anybody.
She didn't say anything, dude.
But you could have ended all of this right then and there. Like, what?
She dropped the scroll in a lake in a pond, and Elrond had to find it.
She tried to stab Elrond, and then she knew she had like all these clues, and definitively she was like, Sauron is right here. Halbrand's a fraud. It's really Sauron this entire time. And so she goes to stab him, and it's like, nah, I'm just gonna stand here and talk for a minute. Like, what are you doing? We're gonna save millions of lives and bloodshed. You could have been done right there.
Let me ask you this here.
Talk for a minute.
Let me ask you this here, because you know you said it's Galadriel because you know who she's supposed to be, right? If you didn't have that as a reference, if you didn't have, she would still drive
me crazy.
She was still okay.
Absolutely drive me crazy. Just like as a character arc. I was saying, like throughout the series, she's been a dick to everybody. Like when she went to Numenor, she was like, "Hey guys, I need you to do me a favor and let me
I am an elf.
Ships.
Get me off this piece of rock."
Yeah, she was like, "This is a piece of crap over here. You guys, like, we built this garbage." Like,
and I told her, "Don't crap on my land that I bought a house on, even though my house is destroyed because Numenor is now destroyed."
Then like Sauron was like, "Hey, be tactful right now," and she's like, "I'm an elf. You guys suck. Like, what are you doing? Like,
take me home now. I am an elf. I will come and destroy you."
It. She turned a full-on Karen. Like, are you serious? Like, throughout the entire show, she's been a dick to everybody. like just rude to them, just like condescending. Like when she was up in the very first show, when she's up in the mountains and her soldiers were like they were feeble, they couldn't make it. She was like, "Leave that guy. We got stuff to do." Like, what? Her soldiers deserted her because she was addicted to everybody. I'm like, this is
I'm
not a
outta
good
here.
leader. This is trash. She's not a likable person. And then when you on top of that, as a special layer of frosting on top of that, when you know what she's supposed to be like, you're like, who is this person? Why'd you write her like this? It's such a I don't know. I disliked her as a character, the way she was written, the way she was acted, the whole gambit from left to right. I was like, this is trash. I disliked her horribly. See, the second group, I would say I just like the Harfoots.
Yeah,
Flintstones are the worst.
The Flintstones,
they're the absolute worst. I
nobody
can't,
leaves the trail and nobody walks alone.
Yeah, all the chants. I know they thought this was gonna be like Lord of the Rings, and we're like, yeah, this is like The Hobbit. Like, no.
Did you know?
This is
Did
trash.
you know that? I know we have mad shade like against the Harfords, right? The Flintstones.
Yeah,
but did you know that
literally.
the Flintstones invented the backpack?
I did not know that. They invented a backpack because they're too cheap to go make a wagon. Like, what it was? I don't understand that.
That was the worst backpack in the history of backpacks. That is
I'm
like, dude,
a backpack of bones and stuff. Like
dude, my back is screwed up like with this backpack. Come on, I'm like, dude, what is this like? It's wood and like a basket.
Like the Flintstones, they would have a backpack made out of stone. Like some rocks.
They had like if you saw their wagons, they had the big wheels, the stone wheels, just like the Flintstones. Just like the Flintstones. No,
they need like a brontosaurus ribs or whatever. And
exactly.
I was like, yeah, this is the
Flintstones. Just like the Flintstones. And I'm just like, okay,
trash.
But you got to give it to Nori. Nori's trying to like do some like serious things. I think
get away from the Flintstones.
She's got to get away, dude. I mean, I think next season when we see her, she's gonna be clean. Her hair is gonna be straight. She's gonna have on like a really dope outfit. The whole nine. She's gonna look pretty good.
Nori's not gonna be nappy anymore. She's gonna be.
And
like,
I was trying to figure out.
Cool.
I was trying to figure out. I was like, is she English or Scottish? Right? Because I knew this girl who owned the bar, and she was Scottish, and you could just. They have a very strong accent. I was like, no. She sounds Scottish. I checked it out. She's Scottish. Part. What's up?
So a lot of British people and Scottish people, they're upset with this show because they think that the accents are
mixed up.
No, they don't think it's mixed up. They think they're mocking them. So Scottish people and British people are upset. They think they're mocking them with the show. They've actually complained. They said that you guys sound ridiculous with your fake accents.
Well, Nori's best friend, because like the Aderon or whatever his name is, Aridid or whatever his name is, he's Puerto Rican, so you can't quite hear his English accent. But Nori's friend is Nori's friend is New Zealand. She's from New Zealand, and you don't hear that New Zealand accent a lot. You hear like maybe just an offshoot of an English accent. You don't hear.
Yeah, but like that's the thing is that people are upset. Like Scottish people and British people they're actually upset because they think that they're mocking them with the way they did the. It's like doing a Jamaican accent. Like I'm Jamaican. But you're like, hey, man, like you'll be like, yo, what the hell, man?
Not the same, dude.
It sounds stupid.
Or it's like people who try to have like a New York accent. It's like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
You should stop that because people get beat down when they, try to like having a New York accent and they're from the South. It just doesn't work. Okay?
People are literally upset about this. They think they're making fun of them. Comical accents.
What about let's zip this up. Tell me, what do you think about the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power show as a whole? But before you answer that question, I need some clarity here. Because the rings, I kept thinking were like some sort of a rings around a planet. It's not a ring. It's a ring.
Yeah, it's an actual ring.
It's like a ring, finger ring. Okay.
Yeah.
So how is all this power going to be projected through a ring?
Magic.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of rings and kind of the movies explain it. So the rings, they gave rings to the elves, they gave rings to the humans, they gave rings to the dwarfs, and the rings corrupted them and made them evil. That made Sauron taking over the world a lot easier. So he got them kind of out the box. So that's what the rings were supposedly for. But the way they told it kind of disrupts the timeline and exactly how the Lord of the Rings book went. So I don't know how they're gonna tie this thing in a bow because it's kind of weird. Everything's kind of weird. I'll put it like that. But like
I don't
it's
think
a
they
ring that goes in
can
your finger.
because Galadriel, she was saying
Yeah.
all of these rings are for the elves only. These aren't going to the dwarfs. These aren't going to the humans. They're definitely not going to the Flintstones.
No,
These
they
three
made more
rings,
rings. So the elves got 3 rings, and the humans got I think it's 7 rings. I can't remember what the number
but
is. It's
in
either
this
11 or
show,
7.
in this show,
Separate. They're gonna get. Well, I don't know if they're gonna do it in this show, but
right?
they
So
all got separate set of rings. And then
in the
Sauron
movies,
made it. Well, no, in the book, in the movies too.
right? Okay,
Sauron made a Master Key ring.
Mhm.
That's the one ring to rule them all,
Okay,
and that's the ring that controls all the people with the other rings.
okay.
That's what he did.
In this show right now, we only have 3 rings, and those rings are in the possession of the elves, right?
Yeah, but he gifted the ring to all these people
But that was in
and
a movie,
beings
right?
in the book.
Okay, in a book.
So, like,
All
it's
right.
both of them.
But
It's
but
both of
right
them.
now, right, okay, but
No, the
also
show's
in,
doing its own thing. It's like
right,
Halo
the
right
show
now.
is
It's doing its
right.
own
So
thing.
right now in the show we only have 3 rings, and right now they will be right now as we know it will be with the elves only. The dwarfs, the humans, they don't have rings
No one's gonna
in this
take these
show.
rings. The rings are for the elves, and it's gonna
Right.
corrupt. That's what's supposed to be corrupt the elves.
Okay, cool. All right. So, getting back to my other question. So out of this entire season, 8 episodes of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, an Amazon original, $500 million spent on this joint, regardless of them getting the licensing and also putting the show together. It's still $500 million. So,
yeah.
what do you think about the show overall? You know, just the entire season 1. What do you think about that? What are you going to give this rating? What are you going to rate
I
the
think
show?
the showrunners are gonna get fired. That's what I think is gonna happen. They're gonna course correct like a mofo for next season, and they're gonna change a lot of stuff because the show isn't doing what it was supposed to do. Like it was just supposed to be kind of a prequel and get people excited about the property so they can sell you more Lord of the Rings things.
Mhm.
But like
And you can buy Amazon stuff all day.
yeah. So like, but it's like divided the fan bases in half. Why would even half? I would say like 70-30 is divided the fan bases. People that are interested in this thing, it didn't go to them like they hoped.
Mhm.
And so like the showrunners were backtracking and saying, "Hey, next season we're gonna make it more exciting, and we're gonna do some other things that you're gonna really like. Just stick with us. You're gonna like it." So there's been a slew of articles and a bunch of stuff written, kind of defending the show and and interviews with the showrunners talking about what they're gonna do better for next season. That they're listening to the fans. That's why I said like from the behind the scenes thing that I know about, people are gonna get fired.
Yeah.
A lot of people are getting fired.
What would you rate the show? The season 1, what would you rate it?
Okay. As a basic show, I thought, it was like a 6.5. Like I thought it was okay. Connecting to Lord of the Rings, it's a 3. It's bad.
You said
connecting to so if you connected to Lord of the Rings, this show's terrible. If it's just a standalone independent thing that's just this fantasy show, it's okay.
Are you
like
putting
the second you tie it in together?
Are you tying this rating is based on everything like graphics, CGI, storyline, conversations,
because like visually, like it was stunning. But like if you connect it to the Lord of the Rings universe as a whole, the show is bad. Like diametrically is bad all around. Like it's real bad, especially if you watch the movies or
so
read
you said,
the books.
Wait, you're saying the 6 or a 3?
No, I'm saying like if you as a standalone show that doesn't have to do with anything, it's okay. It's not bad.
So as a standalone, what are you giving it?
Seen the movies? That's what I say. 6.5.
Okay.
Standalone. If you don't know anything about anything and just watch it, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
If you've seen the movies or read the books, the show's the 3 to you. Maybe lower. Because of how they
did. Come on.
Because of like what they did, like like I was saying, like Galadriel, the character Galadriel, Elrond, the character Elrond, like how he's portrayed. The fact that Isildur, you're pretending like he's dead, but he can't be dead. Like, there's lots of stuff that's going on.
He can't be dead. He's the star of the show.
Galadriel is supposed to be, she's gonna get married. She's not getting. She's been married for like 1,000 years. She's got a kid. Elrond's gonna marry her kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to do like some kind of love story, like a CW. I'm like, what are you guys doing? This guy's pure evil, and she's got a husband.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that?
I'm going to give this show. Well, let me first explain. Well, first I'll give the rating, and then I'll explain. I am going to give season 1, The Lord of the Rings of Power, an 8.5. Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm giving it an 8.5. One, because I've never seen the movies, right? 2, I like really good storylines, and I don't necessarily care about everything else that's popping off. We were talking offline about another movie we're going to review, but we were comparing it to a movie we saw on HBO called Greenland, right? The story, the movie was dope, but the story was actually doper, right? And the way they went through how they progressed throughout the entire movie, the storyline, that's pretty dope. Now, with this specific show we're talking about, The Lord of the Rings of Power, I really like the storyline. I really like the dialogue. I really like just how they were speaking. I love the graphics. I love the outfits. I love the individuals. There were some people I didn't like, some people I didn't care for that much. But the battles really didn't mean much to me because I don't know anything about like Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, battles is a big part of Lord of the Rings.
I know, I know. When we started watching Halo, we were like, and I watched Halo as a video game, and I'm just like, oh, no, you can't have these seasons with no fighting.
Yeah, you gotta.
And Halo fights all the time, all the time.
The whole thing's a fight.
He's on mission. He's in a mission all the time, right? So I'm not quite sure about the battles and everything because, again, I'm pure. I don't know anything about that, right? But because I am pure, this show right now in this present form, I actually like. I really like it. The battles are okay. We only had one battle and we had some other sort of small battles like when Istar sort of like vanished to 3 people. We don't even know who they are. I mean, I wish I I mean, so I gave it an 8.5. I actually like it. I'm actually looking forward to, because 3 weeks ago, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to watch the second season, but I'm actually looking forward to the second season. I like this. And I will also say this to people who have read the book, who have sat down and watched like 20 hours of the movies or 40 hours of the movies, right?
It's worth it. I'll say it's worth it.
It is, probably is. But you also have to like think about it like this, right? You know, when you go to a movie theater, when you're watching a show on television, when you're watching a movie on a streaming service or something like that, you are viewing a piece of art. Someone has taken something, a book or whatever, and said, hey, you know what? I am going to produce this. I am going to create this in my way with my creative, I'm going to sprinkle my creativity on it. So what you're looking at is just a piece of art. You're watching a piece of art,
art your version of it.
Yeah, their version of it, right? So you can't really...
I agree. Yeah. But there's one problem, though. The showrunners promised everybody that this thing would be faithful to the books,
and that's where he screwed up.
That's where they effed up. They effed up badly. Yeah, they did a bunch of press tours right before the show got started, and they're like, whenever we had a question, we would look back to the books, and we wanted to follow Tolkien as close, faithfully as humanly possible, and wanted to make sure that we were following the essence and the feeling of the book. So the fans, I think, if they said, we were going to do our own thing, this is our take of it, you like it if you like it or don't like it. Right. That's what they should have done. Yeah. They pissed everybody off because they promised that this was going to be right out of the books of Tolkien. And the other thing they did that pissed everybody off was that they had a Tolkien scholar. His name is Shipley. And he was there. He was like, he consulted the movies and The Hobbit and all this other stuff. And so he was there. He was part of the process. and he decided to fire him because he was telling him, well, you can't do that. That's going to be a problem. You got to keep this and we're aligned. And so they got rid of him, and they replaced him with somebody else that was going to greenlight everything they said. And so that's the people, the people who are like, they care about the fan base. They look at that like, oh, that's a problem. I don't know about this. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like the showrunners screwed up because of the expectations they promised.
Yeah.
And that's on them. Had they had just said, we're going to tell a story and it's going to be like our feeling, we're going to do our spin on the thing. But we want to keep making everybody happy. But like, this is just going to be our take of what we think we like about this thing. It would have been fine. But they promised everybody in the beginning, this is going to be exactly like Lord of the Rings. This is a prequel to the movies. And this is going to fit in perfectly fine. You won't even tell the difference between Lord of the Rings and our show. That's what they promised. Those are quotes.
When it comes to art, never say what you're going to do with art. Because you never know, once you start creating art, you never know where art will take you. You know?
The thing is, though, these guys have never done a show on this scale before. And they kept saying, oh, we were learning on the job. We didn't realize how big of a thing this was going to be.
Gotta get rid of
we didn't
those
understand
guys.
our task at hand.
No.
Like, you're talking like that. I'm like, whoa.
No.
You're supposed to be like, yeah, I've been here before. I know.
You got to get rid of these people. Yeah, you got to have confidence with what you do. You have to have
they
confidence.
Are going to get fired, man.
When it comes to art, you got to be confident. So I gave it an 8.5. Keo gave it a 6.5.
Yeah. Hey, I got 2 scores. If you read the books and watched the movies,
it's
3.
a 3.
If you haven't watched the movies and you're interested and you thought this was a good show, I give it a 6.5. That's where I'm at with this thing.
Are you looking forward to the second season or what?
I want to see how they course correct and fix this because they have to fix it. Okay, so Amazon is mad right now. They bet the bank on this thing.
Literally. But Amazon has a boatload of money too. I think like it's Amazon, right? They have the money.
Yeah.
So I don't think that'd be a problem. But
I say they bet the farm. I saw this article and they said that Amazon Studios is gonna fold if this show isn't a success. That's how much money they spent on it.
$500 million?
They're gonna cancel a project because every part of the company has a budget.
Yeah.
And so whatever their budget was, they ate through that with this one show that they thought was gonna be a bigger hit than it is.
Yeah.
Because I've seen like the ratings and like the House of the Dragons destroying this thing in ratings.
Yeah, but I also heard House of Dragon has like all these like, Easter eggs, like people with coffee cups and like rings and everything. It's just like, oh, someone has a wedding band on. Where'd they get that from, Oh, Starbucks.
Yeah, well,
it
definitely, it helps if you read the book, but I've never read the books no, I have read Game of Thrones. I read the first book. I haven't read like the whole, all 6 books or whatever it is, 5 books.
Yeah.
This thing, the House of Dragons is a prequel too.
Yeah.
But I think that the showrunners, people are happier with the show than they are with the Lord of the Rings show, as far as I can tell. And the ratings are higher.
I will say this, though. I like Lord of the Rings of Power. However, I like Andor a lot better.
Yeah, Andor's a way better show.
Andor is awesome. And, it's quick, 40 minutes. It's just like bam, bam, bam.
In and out. Yeah.
Well, The Lord of the Rings of Power, Season 1, we checked out the finale. We checked out all episodes. I gave it an 8.5. Keo gave it a 6.5. And a 3 if you read the books.
Yes.
and also watched the movie. So if you came in here raw and like, just pure and never saw any of it, he gave it a 6.5.
You're like, hell no. It's a hell to the no if you read the books.
I came in here raw and pure and I gave it an 8.5. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
All right.